Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to this week. And boy, what a week it has been. We got we got our election, folks. The election call has been made. We're going to the polls April 28th. This is absolutely fantastic. I love elections. I love them big time. Um, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. We'll have lots of election stuff we can talk about today, tomorrow, the next day, all the way until April 28th. And it's good. It's good. I'm very, very stoked that we have it. It's good to see it underway. Now we get to see the campaign. We get to see these platforms and which one's gonna tickle your fancy, which one is gonna tickle your fancy. I know right now we got conservatives in here, we got liberals in here. I don't know if we have any NDPers in here, but maybe we do. um it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. All right, guys, let's you guys are in the chat just blowing it up before we even begun. So yeah, let's hit the chat. Let's connect. Jonathan in here first. Am I late for maple flavored AI? Ooh, that sounds tasty. We got Bismarcky with a good afternoon, everyone. Living on cash. Good afternoon, everyone. Mark Carney is the best PM Canada has ever had. I hope he wins a majority government. Team Carney. All right, so we got Carney representation in the House. I know we're going to get some Polyev representation as well. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. All right. Prairie says, good afternoon, Candace and community. Happy Sunday. The writs have dropped and election 2025 has begun. Canadians vote April 28th. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, guys. To me, this is a very important election. I will say this. Have your, pencil it into your calendar. And if you just can't make it to the 28th, well, there is you can vote early by mail. So that's another option as well. Max is in the house with a hi, everyone. And like I said we would have some Polyev representation. We got Pierre Polyev for the win. Rory says hello, and it begins. Yeah, it has begun. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mary says, happy Sunday. Did everyone hit the like button? Yeah, guys, hit the like button. Doesn't take too long. I'm going to have a drink of coffee. So, very good. Very good. Yeah. Hit the like button. Basically, and the reason YouTubers go on about it is the algorithm sees it as interaction. And when you interact with a channel, the algorithm gets happy and it sends it out to more people. And then more people, especially people who've never seen the channel before, they might see it, come on in and say, "Oh, what the heck is going on here?" And maybe it'll be fun. Prairie says, "Yep, just before you asked." Rory has hit the like button. Vic is in the house with a here. JJ says, "Let's go. April 28th, election confirmed." Yes, absolutely. Balik is in the house with a hey all. Vic hit the like button. Awesome. Rory says, "I'm sure the Trump admin will be watching this election race." Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. You gotta take anything that comes out of Trump, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Because I've watched from some of his earlier interviews where he was like saying, "Well, I think I'd rather have the Liberals win up in Canada." So you might be sitting there and thinking, "Oh, well, we can't give Trump what he wants. We have to vote conservative then." But I mean, Trump could easily be saying that he wants the Liberals to win, thinking that you're going to think that will mean that you should vote conservative so the Liberals don't win. It could be any kind of game. Here's the thing: look at the platforms, make up your mind based on what the parties are offering. Based on what they're offering. Cowboy is in the house with a greetings all. MC says, "Good afternoon." Bonjour, MC. Good to see you. Let's see. NDP is liberal light. Well, right now, looking at the polls, the NDP may not even be an official party after this election if the polls hold true. So, yeah, oh boy, we got so much going on. So much going on in this country right now. Your Dammits says, Happy Sunday, Candace and everyone. It's the week before Tariff Week. Election has been called. Feels like spring in Canada. Yes, absolutely. This is that time of year the politicians all wake up and get a little bit of spring in their step as they're out there on the campaign trail. All right, we got Lisa in the house with a good afternoon. We got A Sage out here with a good afternoon, and let's see. Chat says liberals, PP for the win. There we go. Cowboys. So far, Carnage is announcing the PC policies from carbon tax to income tax cuts. Well, it certainly takes the wind out of Pierre's sail if if the liberals are saying, yeah, we're going to do all of that too. Yeah, we're going to, as this election moves on, probably next Sunday, I'm going to break down the road to victory for both parties. What I think they need to do to hoist the red or blue flag over the House of Commons. Ian says, I will hit the like button later. I'm still on the fence. Okay, Ian, for you, sure. Jalen says, all in for Pierre Poilievre. Chad says, carbon tax for your house. Then he transferred it to the corporations. Now you pay more without a rebate. All right, fair enough. Lisa says, we need a new government, full stop. All liberals, all the same. 10 years of that regime was more than enough. All right, and there's a lot of people that feel that way. Absolutely. Prairie says, I live in an NDP stronghold and was NDP when I was younger, but the last 9 years have swayed me towards the Conservatives. Okay, fair enough. Actually, the riding I live in, I think we're called Ottawa South. I think the Liberals win it pretty much. It doesn't matter. The Liberals will win no matter what I vote. The Liberals will probably win this riding. Let's see. Rory says Pierre Poilievre has my vote. Let's see. Jerkwow says Poilievre is much better for the economy and bettering quality of life. Carney will just be as bad as the past 8 to 9 years, which killed the economy. Don't be fooled. There we go. Oh boy, we got a lot of opinions today. Got a lot of opinions. Love it. ACJ says, would have gone for Pierre Poilievre if Trudeau was the Liberal PM candidate, but I feel we need an economy expert to lead us against Trump and someone with ties to the Europeans. Okay, all right. Lisa says, exactly, reverse psychology, Candace. Trump is playing chess. It's probably true. Yeah. I mean, Trump is just going to do what Trump, and I have a feeling, there's been talks of foreign interference, but I don't think we'll have any. I think the foreign interference we'll have is just Trump's shooting off his mouth about everything. Who he'd like to see as the governor of Canada. Oh boy. Wayne says, you take anything that Trump says, even he forgets. You can take that with a pillar of salt. Yeah, absolutely. And Trump will change his mind. I mean, it's just all it takes, he wakes up the wrong side of the bed and he's got a completely new idea. So you just never know. Ian says, I'm just kidding. I already hit the like button. I knew you were kidding, Ian. I knew you were kidding. Living on cash. That's exactly, Candace. Trump is playing games. He wants Pierre Poilievre to win, not Carney. Mark Carney needs to win this and put Trump in his place. There we go. JJ says, if you're voting Liberal again after 10 years, WTF are you doing? And where have you been living under a rock? This is the thing. Yeah, like the opinions, that's going to be very polarizing. But here's one thing, guys, and I will mention this. Like I said, we got some people in here who love the Liberal side. We got some people in here who love the Conservative side. I sit in the middle. I've voted for both sides. Here's the thing. I just want to make sure that you guys can all voice your opinions, absolutely, but don't start like, attacking each other or anything like that. And I have seen nothing like this ever in this community, but I'm going to say it once at the beginning. And I don't think it will happen. I think you guys are super, super civil folks. So I like it. I like it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre seems to be less flexible as a person. I feel he doesn't mind destroying the economy if that allows him to win over the liberals or cutting services. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like I said, I need to see their official platforms, and we should be getting those. Like they should have those. They should be available even right now, as far as I'm concerned. So I think we'll have a better idea of what both sides are standing for. And I am one of these people. Like, let's say I voted for Pierre this time around. If I voted for Pierre on his platform, and in the next 4 years he drops the ball on most of the things on his platform, that will count against him in the next election. 100%. 100%. I do like to hold politicians accountable. It's like, hey, do what you say you're going to do. Even if I don't like it, but you still do it because you said you were going to do it, I'll give you some respect for that. Cowboy says, read values and see what that guy wants to do to us. West is rotten, and it's because of capitalism. There we go. Let's see. I like someone with flexible policy where they don't mind changing the platform if the country needs it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Jordan says, hello, Candace. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm having a good day. I'm having a pretty good day. Actually, before we even started this, I filmed and released a short because I was just like, how I like to do a short after each one of the lives now. I'm like, yeah, the shorts generator thing that StreamYard has. I got 2 issues with it right now, guys. One, if I go over 2 hours, and sometimes we often go over 2 hours on this one, it doesn't do it. 2, it really wasn't doing it in high quality. So I filmed today's short in 4G. I mean, I'm like, let's do it, or at least as close to 4G as I could get, Final Cut Pro to do when it comes to shorts. So I think it's something like I don't know. It's more resolution than 1280 or 1290 or any of that. So it's good. Chat says, go look at what the EU has to say about Carney. All right. Your damn it says, I come from a liberal family. I have long been a liberal supporter. That said, I have cut the cord. How many times can you do the same thing hoping for a different outcome? It's time for change. Jordan says, the best I can say is no matter who is elected here in Canada, we will not soon forget the way we've been treated by Trump. We may forgive, but we will not forget. The damage is done. Trust is gone. Yeah, no. The U.S. and, I mean, all of this crap from Trump, it's crazy. He's actually, he's kind of created a group of countries. There's about 15 of them, and I think he's calling them the Dirty 15. And these are all of the countries that, in his mind, owe the U.S. the most. And you can be sure Canada's at the top. We're like the leaders of the Dirty 15. It's pretty bad. Cowboy says, if Carnage wins, the West will leave. I've heard rumors of that. It really depends. It really depends on. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that. I don't think they will, though. I think they'll be angry. And I think you never know. I mean, heck, it'd be interesting to see what would happen if we ever did have a referendum in like Alberta. But yeah, no, it's really hard to call that one, Cowboy. It's hard to call that one. I would not discount it 100% though. Rory says, we cannot always keep our oil minerals in the ground. No, we need to get the stuff out. And this is what I am liking. So far, the early indications from both the Conservatives and the Liberals is that, yeah, we're going to work on getting these things out. We're going to work on getting some infrastructure. Actually, I heard another interesting idea from Carney the other day. He was talking about Because you guys remember how I said, with an east to west oil, if we want to export oil to Europe, I was thinking as long as we could get it to like Kingston, we could use the St. Lawrence Seaway. Well, he was also mentioning if we just got it as far as Churchill because of the Arctic opening up, because the Arctic is now it's not as cold up there as it used to be. That's another way to get the oil out. Ship it up through the Hudson's Bay and down that way. I would still much rather Kingston personally, only because maybe the Arctic's opening up, but there's a good amount of icebergs up that far, and last thing you want is for an oil tanker to be running into an iceberg. That would be a disaster, that's for sure. Jordan says, again, how do you rein in a bunch of clowns? Hire yourself a carny. There we go. I like that. Chad says, boots, not suits. PP for the win. And what political party actually says what they gonna do? I know. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, every so often I have seen, oh God, I'm actually going to give some credit to Donald Trump. I don't want to. I really don't want to. But a lot of the ludicrous campaign stuff that he said he was going to do as soon as he got into office, some of them he started checking off like really, really fast. Now most of them were crazy stuff, and and of course some of the stuff he was over promising, like ending the war in Ukraine on day one. That was supposed to be over, but it's not. And yeah, the tariffs. He made those promises. He's definitely coming out in spades on that, but. He never mentioned the annexing of Canada until after he had already won. So, anyway, what what a mess! What a mess we have down at our neighbors. Tom says we better hope for Pierre. Luke says, hi, everyone. We are now officially in spring. I know, it's great. It's fantastic. Although today in Ottawa, you would think it was still winter. It was like well, yesterday we actually had a little bit of snow, so the lawn was white again briefly. And today, I think it was like minus 18 wind chill this morning when I got up. I'm like, this doesn't feel like spring. But it should change pretty fast. It should change pretty fast for sure. Luke says, hi, everyone. Oh, I already read that. A Saja says, I feel the best option is probably a minority liberal government or a minority conservative government with Carney as a de facto finance minister or tariff-related protocol. Now, this is a great idea. Hear me out for a second. With what's going on with Trump, I really would like to see I would like to see a united front. If we had a minority, whether it be a minority conservative or a minority liberal, I am really hoping that, especially on all of the responses to Trump and things like that, that we can get a lot more working together. Like whoever gets in, let's say Pierre gets in with a minority. I don't want to see, everybody looking to try to vote him out with a vote of non-confidence as soon as they can. I would rather be like, let's just work together. Let's get this done. That's what I'd like to see, or a liberal minority. It doesn't matter. Whatever we get, I would certainly like to see a bit of cross the aisle work. And this is a big ask. Let's end all of the weird fighting that you see in question period where nobody answers questions. Let's just try to get things done. Let's make Canada not a target of the United States. Let's take Canada strong to the next level. That's what I want to see. All right. Rory says, I used to vote Liberal under Paul Martin, but that has all changed. Tom says net zero will destroy us. Let's see. Lisa saying, I came from a Liberal family. Also, my grandfather was a Liberal MPP in Ontario in the 70s and 80s. Party whip. I voted for them in my younger years, but never again. Here's a funny little story. The closest I've been to politics is I used to work for a very conservative family. And one day I came to work and they said, we're heading into the leadership convention. I was like, what? A leadership convention? For who? And they're like, for the conservatives. And they said, oh, you're coming. I said, oh, I said, what am I going to be doing? They're like, you're going to be a scrutineer today. I was like, oh, I was like, don't I have to actually be a member of the Conservative Party to do that? And they said, oh, we've already signed you up. You're there. We're good. So that was the leadership convention where basically where Stephen Harper became the leader of the Conservative Party. So I was there scrutinizing. I was actually, and the funny thing is, this family was they were actually representing Kim Campbell. So I was a Kim Campbell scrutineer. I did question a couple of ballots, but that was about it. That was about it. Prairie. Oh, and the other thing that's really interesting is that's like a volunteer thing, right? You don't get paid to be a scrutineer, but I got paid because I was on the clock, so I loved it. Prairie says Carney is claiming all the great things he's done in the last 9 days since being sworn in to pull the wool over Canadians' eyes. Parliament is not sitting, so he's done nothing but make promises. Yeah, it looks like Parliament's not going to be sitting for a while. So, it's pretty quiet on the Hill. Chad says everyone hated Harper, but at least the books were balanced. Thanks. Thanks to a conservative for that, or thank a conservative for that. Liberal books will balance themselves. Wow, what a joke. Let's see. Drill, baby, drill. Gotta doge, Canada. Yeah, all of that drilling. Let's see. Liberals have gone so far left, the party is unrecognizable. My grandfather is probably rolling over in his grave over the state of the party. Yeah. I mean, and the liberals were supposed to be much more central than where they're at the moment. So, yeah, I can understand that. Let's see. Right on, Chad. Let's see. Trump did not run Canada into the ground. That was the Liberals. Use your bank statements and quality of life. All right. Let's see. Promises that contradict his personal policies and beliefs. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard, and I heard a few things on the internet about some of the books that he had read and things like that, but I haven't read them, so it's hard to say. Maybe I'll have to get ChatGPT to read one for me. I don't have time to read a big book at the moment. RD says, hello, all. Rory says, we just need the GTA to vote for Pierre Poilievre, and he's in. Yeah, that's one of the big areas. The GTA, there's a lot of seats up for gain in that area for sure. Tom says, Carney is way worse. JJ says, permission to block radical leftists in the chat. None of that BS. Get yourself fact checked and stop listening to mainstream media. They're all paid by the liberals. Yeah, don't block anybody, JJ. Like I said, the only blocking is if people start getting personal and start attacking each other, then we'll cross that bridge if it happens. But I think this is a community that it's not going to happen in. A Seja says, is Carney against or for pipelines or infrastructure? If liberals can be held accountable to get those built to reduce dependency on U.S., that would be a great. Quebec may not work with the conservatives, and that is a thing as well. From what I've heard, though, some of the recent polling in Quebec, Quebec seems to be at least a little bit less hell no for a pipeline going through. So hopefully we can get that to happen. Whoever wins, I'd like to see that happen. Or like I said, I like my Kingston idea. I guess Carney wants to do Churchill, but we'll see how it all unrolls. Now I did hear. We'll get you here in 1 second here, Jordan. I did hear that the energy sector have been basically saying, let's call an emergency, energy emergencies, that we can build some of this infrastructure faster. I've kind of, you know what? Trump's been using emergencies, all of his little emergencies, to get things done faster south of the border. So I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that. Let's get our infrastructure. Let's get stuff built. Yeah, for sure. All right, Jordan says, let's be real. If Canada is going to rearrange the export of our oil, we should really consider refining it here. It is worth so much more in its broken down individual products. Oh, absolutely. I agree. 1,000,000,000% on that, Jordan. We need refineries as well. And that's the thing. Um, Really depends on how fast we can get things built, right? I mean, if the pipelines are faster to build, and pipelines take a bit of time and a bit of money, of course, um, then we might have to, at least initially start selling it unprocessed. But if we could get those plants up and we could get the oil processing happening here, wow. Even on the other side of this with the US, we get the processors built in the process, we can charge them more. We can charge them more for the oil. So that wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Chad says Trump lower housing, no tax on overtime, and the war. Legal crypto was the only thing. What a joke. Donald Duck is quack. All right. Wayne says, let's see, a couple of Republicans down there hope that Pollyanna wins. Trump will have his lunch. They just don't take him seriously. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling like, obviously all of the Republicans down there can't all be fully subscribed with everything that Trump is doing. But I think there's a lot of fear there. He has enough of an inner circle that he can pretty much get away with whatever he wants. And I think there's a lot of fear. It's like, I have to vote Trump's way, or, you know, I don't want him directing his craziness at me. And I think there's a lot of people in that boat. Tom says Carney is going to kill our energy sector. Well, let's hope not. Let's see. Jackie says, JJ, good idea. Let's ban radical Doge right from the chat. Also, radical on either side is very dangerous. Yeah, I don't think we have any, as far as I know. Maybe I've missed it, but I don't think we have anybody in here who's pushing to that radical area. Rory says, you should see how many carloads of coal still get shipped across Nebraska per day. Unreal. I can believe it. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre's got the young vote. Can't afford to purchase any first home in this economy. Yeah. Now, I do like the idea, the one Carney idea that he came up with the other day of removing the GST for first-time home buyers. Now, I think that's only up to $1 million. So if you're getting and unfortunately, in some areas, you can't get a house for less than $1 million, but it could help some people. Let's see. Rory says Northern Perspective is a great site to watch our politics in Canada. I think I've seen a few. I think I've seen a few episodes. Cowboy says, if people read Hitler's book, I doubt he would have gotten the office of chancellor. I would hope not. And once again, I haven't read Hitler's book either. I don't have any desire to. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Tom says, except it was Carney's advice to halt the pipelines to the east. Interesting. Well, and this is one of these things, like I keep saying, Tom, is that we know that Carney advised Trudeau on a whole bunch of stuff, but I want to know. I really want to know this, and I don't know. I honestly don't. I want to know how much of his advice Trudeau actually listened to. That's one of the reasons that I can't just sort of I can't throw a blanket across and say, okay, everything Trudeau did was, came from Carney, because, I know Trudeau was kind of at that point where he kind of just did whatever he wanted. And he was getting worse and worse at that. So it would be interesting to know. I'd love to actually just have a checklist. Like, here's everything that Carney told him to do, and here's everything that he did. That's what I would love to have. I don't have it, though. Ian says, I Googled Harper balanced budget. He presented 9 budgets, 6 had deficits. Okay, fair enough. But he did have 3. He had 3 balanced, so you got to give him that. Bismarcky says, how is Pierre going to make housing affordable? Saying it is one thing, making it happen is another. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. And, you know, at both sides, we're going to hear a lot of stuff over the next month. And, you know, the proof is going to be on the pudding on the other side. Right now, we have to sort of take them for their word. And that's kind of, I think, what a lot of this election is going to be like. You know, are they going to do what they're saying they're going to do? So I want to see clear plans. Like, you know, if you give me a clear plan, if you just tell me, oh, I'm going to make something affordable. Okay, great. How? I need to know the how. I need to know the how, the where, the what, the why, and, you know, the 5 W's or whatever. I need to know how it's going to happen. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. MC says, I don't think Pierre has a chance in Quebec. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that right now the Liberals are surging a bit in Quebec. Even the Bloc they've lost a little bit. The Bloc have lost a little bit. Rory says, there is no doubt Pierre has a massive mountain of garbage to clean up if elected. Let's see. Rory thinks that Quebec will be fully Bloc. Yeah, the Bloc are going to still, like, normally the Bloc, like right now, I think the polls have the Blocs leading in about 26 seats in Quebec. And normally they come in around 30. So, but yeah, they're still going to be, I think the Bloc will always be a significant presence in Quebec, unless we have another protest year. If you guys remember that year that the NDP won all those seats in Quebec, it wasn't because Quebecers were like, ooh, the NDP, they have what we're looking for. No, it was more of a protest against the Bloc that year. Cowboy says, let's see, because of the carbon taxes, we are not running refineries at capacity. Yeah, well, you see, that's something we need to start looking at. And that's the thing. Nothing needs to come off the table. Like, really, we need to get a lot of stuff happening. And that's why, going back to that whole idea of a minority government, if we get a minority government, that would be, especially if they're willing to work together, if we get some parties working together, that could definitely be good. But here'll be the interesting thing. I have a feeling from the way the polls are going, if we do have a minority government, it's not going to be a situation where you won't have a situation where you could have like a liberal NDP, because I think the NDP are going to be really decimated in this election. So it might be a situation where the Bloc could end up with the balance of power in a minority government. And it might be the only way you're going to get anything done is if you work with the Bloc, or you work, the Liberals and the Conservatives work together. So that could be really, really interesting. It could be a really interesting dynamic for sure. The Prairie says, I'd rather have Pierre clean up a bit of the garbage than have Carney pile more on top. Okay, fair enough. Chad says, let's see, oil is refined here. You have 4 in Sarnia, Ontario, 1 in Regina, Saskatchewan, Lloydminster, Alberta, a few refineries there, just no heavy crude. And that's what the U.S. refines. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about, though. We're actually, we're talking about some of the heavy crude stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to see. All right. Zozo Trader says, question, who does Canada have to do all of this building? Not even enough workers to build homes, let alone refineries. Guess we'll see. And that's of course, the other side of the rub. I did hear one, I'm trying to think who it was. I know somebody was talking about trying to create incentives to get more people into the trades. But I think that might have been Doug Ford. It might have been Doug Ford. But that is something that we definitely need to do. And looking at immigration, I know we sort of pushed it back a bit, but maybe we need to sort of green light. Like, for example, are you a carpenter? Are you a tradesperson? Yeah, you can come to Canada. We need your hammer. That might be something to look at as well. Let's see. Canada is going to need to spend more on defense and increase that budget. Deficits are going to become larger. Yes. Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Our deficits going up. It's because you have to look at the defense, you have to look at whatever other hoops Trump pretty much makes us jump into. So yeah, I agree 100%. All right. Zozo, working at a refinery in a few weeks. Lots of skilled workers in Saskatchewan. Nice, 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 nice. Let's see. Any chance the Russians take advantage of this change in relations between USA and Canada? I guess I'm asking, should we start learning Russian? No, no. Here's the thing. No matter how bad the relation or how strained our relationship gets with the US, they're not going to let Russia come in and start taking Canadian territory. They're really not, because that becomes a big threat to them. You know, when you think about the fact that they want Greenland for security reasons, it's a clear shot to Russia from Greenland and from Canada. They will not let that happen. Also, China, I don't think they would let that happen. Now, Trump will say, yeah, we're not going to help you, Canada. Yeah, bullshit. Whoops, I swore. Well, anyway, that's the word. Yeah, he's going to help. They're going to help. They're not going to stop. They're not going to let Russia or China really set up here. They're just not going to do it. That would be a huge threat to the U.S. And plus, you know what this is really about? It's not about fentanyl. It's about silver, nickel, and lithium, and uranium, and all of the critical minerals that we have in our soil. That's what this is about. It's not about fentanyl. Rory, Carney can't put the puck in the net, but he can curse the Oilers lineup. Oh, poor Oilers. Carney the clown. There we go. Paul is in the house. Anyone thinking about voting for Carney should read this book. He is 10 times worse than Trudeau. Probably read his book. Yeah, his book. There we go. A cowboy says, get people working. They will decide where to spend their money. We are in need of tax relief first and foremost. Yeah, I mean, Canada's really well overtaxed. I agree with that 100%. Let's see. Yeah, he's also 10 times worse than H is trying to convince Canadians. Let's see. Trades was Pierre. Steven's in the house with a hola, everyone. Hi, Steven. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you before. So welcome to the stream. AA says liberals want election before anyone find anything about Carney and before tariff momentum die down. Now, I will say, this is pretty much the shortest an election can actually be. So they pretty much look, what's the shortest we can legally make an election? And well, yeah, this is it. This is it. All right, boots, not suits. I love it, love it. Candace, tell us how you really feel. Yeah, that we can do. That we can do. Let's see. Trades are where the money is anyhow. Oh my God, trades, like you can make a lot of money as trades. And it's funny. I know when I got out of high school, I went to university. Back then people they almost sort of look at trades and say, oh yeah, that's where the people who are not as smart go. That's kind of it's a terrible way to look at it. But it turns out that those people who went to the trades, they're the ones sitting back with a couple of houses, and they got the money, they got the cash. Yeah, the trades are where the money is at. You become a carpenter, a plumber, an electrician, a welder. You got it made. You have it made. Absolutely. Rory says trading U.S. futures. Let's see. China is already set up. Here, police stations. Thoughts on RDDT? All right, give me 1 second. We'll get back to that here. I got a super sticker coming in from Funny Books. So that knocks us up to 11. That means that Funny Books is our GOAT. Holy banana bread. Awesomeness. And let's just jump right ahead to bang, number 2 from Funny Books. So that takes our swag meter up to 12. And they're already the GOAT, but I guess they're going to be like a double GOAT. Here we go. Here you go. You are absolutely the GOAT. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. All right. RDDT. All right, let me take a look. It's not, for some reason, RDDT is not pulling up anything right now. Whoops, what is that? Oh, you know why it's doing that? Because I actually have to pull up I have to pull up my page. I have to pull up my page. Let me do that here. Let's see here. Share screen, window, and where is it? Where is it? Oh boy. Channel dashboard. Nope, nope, that's not it at all. Oh, it's right here. I've got it on the Blossom Social. All right. Let me add this here. We're going to come back to this. Somebody wants me to review their Blossom portfolio. We're going to do that a little bit later. But for now, let's head on over to here. And what was it? DD. Everything is scrolling down on me. Vic, right here. Let's see. Where the heck is everything at? All right. I'm trying to find you, Vic. I'm trying to find what you had asked for. Bum. Holy cow. Oh, right. I got it highlighted, so I was like looking past it. RDDT. All right, RDDT. Let's pull this up here. Oh, Reddit. Okay. Reddit. All right. I just didn't know the ticker off the top of my head. So good old Reddit. Look at this. On Friday, they were up 6.391%. I'm going to pull up. Let's pull up the three. Holy banana bread. So we don't even need the 3-year. Reddit only IPO'd like what? Well, back here, 2024. So last year. So about a year. But yeah, look at this. Now they are currently down quite a bit from this peak. So they have responded very very interestingly to some of the latest economic turmoil. So, but this is fine. I always look at it like, you know, when you get a big jump like this, this is almost expected. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to let me just pull up some of their technicals here. Let's head down and take a look here. Yeah, we still don't have any. Sometimes with newer stocks, I don't know. So I don't know what their debt is looking like. I don't have a return on equity for them. So definitely interesting. But I do know that they are, let's see here. Actually, I'm going to go right back to my front screen here. Just want to double check here, make sure that they are still profitable. I haven't really looked. I honestly haven't looked at them. I don't even have any of that data. So I get no data on them at the moment. So let's just go to, I'm going to just bring up simply Wall Street here and see if they have anything popping up on their 30% off their paid plans. There we go. RDDT. There we go. RDDT, Reddit, bang. All right. Well, this is interesting. So right now they are predicting that their earnings are forecast to grow quite a bit. That's good. Let's see, volatile share price. Okay. Significant insider selling. Yeah, that I sometimes I don't like it when I see that, but everything else looks to be mostly in the green. So yeah, I would say Reddit's probably fine. I would pay attention. I would watch them, but I have a feeling that big drop that we've seen, that they're going to bounce back from that. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. All right, there we go. Let's bring everything back up. Where the heck are we at right now? We're right here. All right. Tom G says that GST cut on first-time homes was Pierre's move. I believe, yeah. I think that was one of those ones that was kind of stolen from him. All right. And let's see here. Vic says, one, prices for everything goes up with tariffs. Do you think they'll ever come down? No, we will have to keep paying. That's the good billion-dollar question, because one of the problems with tariffs is, and I guess the best example of it is the whole washing machine tariff. So back in the day, the U.S. put tariffs on foreign washing machines. So when what ended up happening is all of a sudden, not just the washing machines went up, so did the dryers, because people will buy a washing machine and a dryer together. So the price went up on both, even though there was no tariffs on the dryers. Then, then all of the American washing machines, they knocked their prices up too. They're like, hey, look, if people are willing to pay that much for the foreign ones, we can sell ours for a little bit more. So you ended up seeing prices go right up across the board. Now, once tariffs go away, will the prices return completely to normal? You would like to think so, but I suspect they will never fully recover. It depends. It might just be item by item, but I think some things will probably, they'll come back down a little bit, but they probably won't make it the full 20. Like if something goes up 25%, it won't come back 25%. Now, there are some companies that are saying that they're going to absorb the tariff and not pass it on to the customer. Hey, fantastic. I love that. But yeah, it's going to be, and here's the thing though, it's not like you're going to be easily able to look at it, because you have to look at it like, let's say we have a 25% tariff on a bunch of goods, and let's say it sticks around for the full 4 years. Well, at the end of that 4 years, we're not going back to where we were at the beginning, because you've also got other things like regular, you've got a regular 2% inflation or so that's hitting those products each year. So it's all going to add up. So we'll never get back to where we truly are. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Yeah, and here's Chad. Nothing ever goes down, Vic. All right, and here we go. Holy banana bread. We got ourselves another. This one's here, a super chat from Funny Books, saying swag it. So yeah, we got of course our swag thing going on. So that's that little counter up top. Now, before I talk, I'll tell you guys about that here in a second. But before we do, we just got to give the goat. We got to give the goat their just reward. So Funny Books is once again the goat. So yeah, the swag thing is every month we have a little challenge of some sort. We get a certain, we get 25 supers. Doesn't have to be, either super thanks, super chat, or it can also be a super sticker. It can also be a gifted membership. We add that all onto the swag meter. If we get to 25 in the month, something happens. The first time we did it, it was the Da Bomb one. So if we got to 25, I had to eat a whole spoonful of Da Bomb. We got to 25, and I ate a whole spoonful of Da Bomb. I can still taste it. I think I can. This time around, it's swag. So what happens if we don't get it? If we don't get it, we just, we'll move it to next month. But what will happen is once we accomplish this goal, we're going to do a swag giveaway. I will, and it's actually really, really easy, guys, because the way it works with the company that does the swag for the channel, I can just go in and pay them for the swag, and then they will give me a link that I can just give to the winner. So that way there, I don't have anything to do with your address or any of that. I just give you the winner for the link for the free swag. You just go and you order it, and it gets shipped to your house. So simple as that. Nice and easy. Because it would suck if I had to order it and then ship it to you. That's one of the reasons I went with the company I have, because they had that option, because I thought that was definitely an important one. So yeah, so right now we're in March. We're at 13. So what can I say? Well, we might get there. You never know. We've got a few more live streams left. All right. Rory says, print more money, Chad. Let's see, not 153.9 liter average price in Saskatchewan. There we go. Yeah, read it. As soon as I looked at it, I was like, duh. I just didn't know what their ticker was off the top of my head. I do know a lot of tickers off the top of my head, but that was just one that didn't register. Let's see, Rory, cash is trash, gold, silver, copper, stocks, and Bitcoin. There we go. Gotta love the Bitcoin. Chad says, I get off cash as fast as I make it, loses its value, junk, dirty fate. There we go. Getting rid of the cash. Can you give it to me? There we go. Rory will gladly take the cash off your hands, Chad. Sounds like a great deal. Let's see. Okay, I just wanted 30% ROI. Let's see. Anyone get the tangerine? What is the tangerine? I've not seen the tangerine offer. I know every so often Tangerine will come and they will offer, if you transfer your bank over to them, they'll give you a crazy good interest rate, but it's time limited. So normally it's like, I don't know if it's 6 months. It might even only be 3 months, but it's a great offer for that time. Let's see. Ian says, Power Corporation of Canada raised their dividend 9% to 61.25 quarterly. Anyone here own POW? Yeah, POW. I think a lot of people love POW. And also keep in mind, Sky, those of you who are fans of Wealthsimple, POW is they don't own Wealthsimple, but they own the most. They have the most investment in Wealthsimple, so they're the majority investor. So it's like investing in POW. You are it's kind of like investing in Wealthsimple a little bit. Oh, is that what it is? 4.5% with the tangerines. Okay. Chad says 3 months, I think, not worth the headaches to transfer. Yeah, and that's usually what it is. You get in there, you got your 3 months, and then, they go back to a crappy interest rate. That's why I just like somebody, like I use EQ Bank, and they, I think their rate right now is like 1.5, or it's either 1.5 or 1. I don't know. It's still better than the regular banks. So the big 6 banks where you end up getting like, you don't even get a full percent. I mean, it's like, it's not great. All right. Vic says, I was defrauded thousands by Emerge ETFs, Canadian ARC clones. Do a quick search. I remember I haven't seen Emerge ETFs around that much anymore. I remember seeing them, and I've always, like when I'm searching for ETFs for videos and things like that, I know I've seen Emerge, but they've just never been that. They just never made any of my criteria. So I don't know. Chad says, Kathy Wood, a joke. Just do the opposite of what she says. You make money. So she's like, what? The female version of Jim Cramer? Just putting that out there. There's actually, speaking of Jim Cramer, I think there's like some ETF. I thought there was an ETF at one point. It was like an anti-Jim Cramer ETF that basically they invested in, or they shorted everything. Or I think they shorted everything. I think they shorted everything that he promoted. I always thought that was funny. Seabass says, have you ever looked at Kraken Robotics from Newfoundland? PNG, what a cool name. I love the name. I love the name Kraken Robotics. And yeah, we've looked at them before. Let's look at them now. Let's pull them up here. All right. Where am I at? Oh, I'm still on Reddit. All right. Let's head over here and we'll bring up Kraken. Release the Kraken. Here we go. PNG. And look at this, up another 2.353% on Friday. So I'm going to pull up their 1 year. But yeah, look at this. They have been on a tear, and they've almost recovered from that last market slide. So yeah, I do like Kraken Robotics. I do like them. They're kind of a penny adjacent stock, but it's one of these ones like, a lot of times I talk about play money, like having a little bit of money that you can just play. You can throw it on something you want to be more speculative on. I think this is a great option to be speculative on for sure. Yeah, I do like them. But I will also put in, I will add, if we end up, if these tariffs end up pushing us into a recession, then a stock like this is one that you will want to watch, because, the smaller stocks do sometimes take bigger hits when it comes to some of these big economic storms. Vic says, I was a sucker then, Chad. I'm wary of even small ETF issues. Trust Vanguard, BMO, iShares, etc. There we go. All right. Oh, look at that. Chad, you got in at 88 cents. Not too shabby. All right. AA wants to know what you mean by defrauded. I have a feeling that it's basically bad performance. I have a feeling. I could be wrong. But I haven't really looked a lot at Emerge. I'm, being honest on that there. Chad says, yeah, Vic sold all my ARC. Can't stand that woman with her outrageous price predictions. There we are. Chad saying the same thing, the female version of Jim Cramer. Vic says the emerged managers defrauded holders and just blew the money. Oh, well then, yeah, that might be why I don't see them around anymore. But yeah, that's horrible. That's really, really horrible. Let's see. I wanted to support women, so went with emerge. All right. AA says, and there was no legal action. There had to have been legal action, I would think. Nice. You're like up 200%. Good job. Let's see. Bankruptcy classic action. There we go. All right. Lisa says, Vic, I got my tangerine offer and it's only for new deposits this time. There we go. There's the rub. It used to be that way, especially if you've, anybody who's been around a lot of the phone companies up here, they would have these great offers to bring new people in, but you're calling to renew your contract or your phone and you can't get them great offers. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Hi, kitten. Oh, the kitty's the kitty's over here just pushing on me, looking for treats. All right. Let's see. Yeah, ARC had lots of ETFs. Go bankrupt. Don't touch anything she promotes. Yeah. I don't think I definitely don't have any ARC at all. Let's see. Lisa said only 3.5% on those news deposits. I'm hoping they send me a better offer. There we go. Let's see. Do you see interest rates going up in Canada? Trump seems like he might like USD to fall to get more exports and reduce interest rates in US. Currently, you can get 4% on the USD FHSA. I don't see the rates going up. Here's the thing with the when it comes to the tariff-induced inflation. So yeah, the Bank of Canada normally will respond to inflation by raising rates so that they can try to bring inflation down. In this case, though, we also have, in addition to these tariff-induced inflation, is we're going to have an economy and a GDP sinking like crazy as we head towards a recession. So in that case, the Bank of Canada, they will probably pause a lot, but I don't, and they might even lower it a little bit more than it is now, but I don't see them raising anything up until we get to the other side of this. Because right now, there's so many stressors. Another big stressor is, of course, the mortgage renewal wave. So we've got a lot of people who got great mortgage rates in Canada, like sub 2%, sub 3%, during the peak of the pandemic. These are the people, like, they're all coming in to renew this year and into next year. So this is the group that if you start raising interest rates and start pushing up what they're going to renew it at, it's going to cause a lot of extra stress on the banks and on the economy. So you got to look at things like this, and they just can't do it. They can't. I mean, if they do, they're going to be shooting us in the foot. And I think the Bank of Canada kind of gets that idea. So even this time around, they still lowered the rate again, even though, it wasn't an unanimous thing, but I have a feeling that I think the next one, we'll probably definitely see a pause next time around, but I think we'll probably see one or two more little rate cuts through the year just to try to push things down, to try to hold the economy together. It's almost like putting Band-Aids on it. JJ says EQ dropped to, are they down to 1.25? Oh boy. Yeah, that's pretty low. But at the same time, I don't really park cash there. If I want to park cash, I'm probably going to use a cash ETF because, you're still getting, actually interesting here. Let me show you guys something. Because this came up the other day. Oh, I still have it up. This here's another one. This is a new one. It's TD Cash. Oh, that's not it. TD. I'm just going to type in cash. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. T-Cash. So T-Cash. So, they are same idea, like they're new, like they just started here in 2024. But look at this. They're actually their distribution yield. So their yield is coming in at 4.5%. So it's basically another 0.5%. So I didn't do it this time around. I'm still like in the challenge. I'm still in cash, which is, I'm gonna change that over. Gonna change that over to T cash because why not get a little bit more? So I'm gonna switch to this one. Anyway, let's let's pull this back. We haven't even started the news yet. Holy banana bread. Vic says, remember the good old days of 5% interest? By old, I mean 2023. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, what happened to Telus? I don't own it, by the way. It's a good question. I have not. Did something happen to Telus? Let's take a look. Oh wow, yeah, they did fall down quite a bit. Look, 4.72%. Oh yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, when we were looking at the market close, as everybody was recovering in the week, all of the telecoms were going in the opposite direction. So they were responding negatively for whatever reason. But yeah, they were heading down. Both Telus, Bell, and Rogers. Like, let me show you Bell. You're going to see the same thing here. So it's not really Telus. It's more or less the sector. And you can sort of see, yeah, I guess in here it's not quite as elongated, but I do actually have a Telus story in the news. So we're going to get to that. Let's see, Let's see, thousands of Telus shares and bag handling. Let's see, think Goldman Sachs downgraded it. That might do it. That might do it. Let's see. A says, I own Telus, just kept it for the dividend. All right. Chad says, but Telus just partnered up with NVIDIA to build an AI center in Quebec. Okay, well, spoiler alert, that's in the news. Rory says, just looking at it, nice drop. Oh, let's see. Yeah, bought a few more at $19.96 per share. Holy cow. It'll be nice to have 20 million portfolio and collect dividends from stocks. Well, that's a good portfolio. Let's see, just a few million short, 19 million and more. I mean, all right, let's see. I picked up more Telus with the dip. Oh yeah, that's we got a new mug. We have a new mug, speaking of swag. So it's what is it? Buy the dip, sip the gain. I love it. Anyway, I'll show you guys. Well, I guess I can show you guys right now. Let's give me a second here. Let me pull this over. All right. There we go. Bang. Products. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. Right now, it's just in the mug. I think I actually showed this the other day, but yeah, buy the dip, sip the gains. I like it. So anyway, it's the latest. It's the latest. Lisa says, let's see, Telus announced some sort of collab with NVIDIA this week. AI factory in Quebec. They sure did. Let's see, Bank of America downgraded Telus Friday. Yeah, that'll do it. Tomato. Let's see, tomato. There we go. Vic, I don't think we needed to know this. Sell the rip shorts. Tim says Air Canada is in a 4-month nosedive. Yes. Air Canada is they're down big time. Let's actually take a look. So I have I think I picked up 50 shares of this for the challenge. So yeah, they're like down. Look at this, 15.23. So as you guys know, I did the challenge a while back with Air Canada. So I was buying anytime it was under $16 each month. And then once it got to 20, I sold everything. Made a profit. And I think a few people in the community who followed me on that, they made some pretty good money too. But this time around, anytime it's under 17, I'm going to be buying. And I don't care how long it takes. I hope Air Canada stays down for a while because I know they're coming back up. And this time I'm going to sell probably, I think I said 22, maybe 23, somewhere's in that vicinity. But yeah, it's going to be a nice little swing. So I'm okay on it this time. All right. Chad says, let's get to the news. Yeah, I know. Right, Chad? I'm wearing shorts. Let's see. Air Canada isn't going to the US anymore. No, no, that is true. Let's see. Yeah, day after I bought the stock. That happens. That happens. Okay, the news with Les Nessman. Yeah, yeah. My favorite line from Les Nessman, one of his favorites is somebody asked him, "What is the eyewitness news?" He's like, "Well, I walk to the window and I open it and I look out and I witness the news or the weather, or I think it was eyewitness weather." Yeah. Anyway, JJ says, "Just skip the news." JJ, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right. Oh boy. The news. We can move through the news pretty fast, but yeah. So we did have our CPI report come out this week. CPI. Oh boy. Year over year, inflation was up 2.6%. We were expecting it to go up, but we were only thinking it was going to go up to 2.2. So we did get a little bit more, little bit more on the inflation side than we were expecting. Core year over year also came in at 2.9%. We did estimate it to go up to 2.8. So we did have a little bit of inflation. Now, this here is the first time in the last 6 months that we broke above the Bank of Canada's 2% target. And some of that inflation was, of course, due to the end of the GST holiday. And we did expect it, but there was a little bit more than expected, just as we were getting ready, of course, just as we're getting ready for that trade war. And of course, that's going to be higher prices and a lower GDP, all of that fun stuff. Now, I will point out, we also had the PPI come out. Now, the PPI came out year over year at 4.9%. We were actually estimating it to come in at 5%. So that did come in at a little bit lower. So, the Bank of Canada is looking at this. But once again, as I said, they're just not going to raise the rate at this point in time. Our economy just can't handle it. So we are going to let it slide. We are going to let it slide for sure. All right. And like I said, we'll zip through some news. We'll hit another article right away. We did have our retail sales come out as well. So for January, our retail sales was down 0.6%. We were expecting it to be flat, so we did actually come in lower than expected. We are expecting February. The preliminary report is showing us that we're going to be down by about 0.4%. So the drop. So the January drop is actually very normal because with a lot of retailers out there selling and a lot of the retail buyers hitting the stores big time in December, it's pretty normal to see a bit of a dip in January. That is absolutely normal. In addition, of course, to that normal swing, we also had a price drop effect thanks to that stupid GST tax holiday. I only call it stupid because I thought it caused more pain than it solved. Now, some of the sectors, motor vehicles and parts dealers, they were down 2.6%. New car dealers were down 3.2%. Although used cars were ticked up. They were actually up 1.6%, and core retail sales were down 0.2%. Looking forward, we could actually see a small boost in sales because of the trade war. Companies who are sort of stockpiling stuff, buying a bunch of stuff ahead of time from U.S. suppliers to avoid tariffs, that will cause probably a small bump, but it's going to be very short-lived. And for the most part, consumers are going to remain pretty darn cautious, and they may restrain spending further until there's a little bit more clarity, because people right now are worried about their jobs, their incomes, and what's going to happen to prices. So that is absolutely going to impact everything for sure. All right. Chad says CPI is a lie. Let's see. Hudson Bay keeping 6 stores open. Yeah, I did hear that. So Hudson's Bay, of course, this is part of the reason that RioCan is getting hit a little bit hard right now, because they have a lot of the Hudson Bay companies are RioCan properties, and so But now they're going to keep 6 stores open. I like that. I like that we're not losing them all because they are kind of a little bit of a what's the best word? Sort of a Canadian icon. Sort of a Canadian icon for sure. Let's see. Rory says PV Mart shutting down. Oh, I don't know what PV Mart is, but yeah, we're probably going to see a lot more places shut down. The economy is just not doing very good. Chad says Rio Can took a dive Friday too. Yeah, they really, really did. Well, guys, let's just head on over to Rio Can here. Let's see, REI. Here we go, Rio Can. So yeah, you can see a fairly big, since the news kind of broke of what's happening, they have been down a little bit. I'm not really super worried. Like, I don't think this is like, I don't think it's time to like bail ship and go running off on Ryokan. So I'm going to continue holding them. If they fall a little bit lower though, I might look at averaging down a bit, but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine long-term. Ryokan's a really good company. So they will, they'll get new tenants. That's what they'll do. That's what anybody will do. Ace Aja says, what will happen to Ryokan considering closing of Hudson's Bay? I just said, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And yeah, Chad's reiterating, Ryokan will find another retailer. Maybe more Walmarts will move in. Hard to say. All right. Now let's zip into our, oh boy. It is time for News from the Hill. We pretty much already did this, guys. We've already discussed it. But I will point out the latest polls have the Liberals moving up a little bit more. They're up to 37.8%, Conservatives at 37.2%, NDP 11.4%, Bloc at 6.4%, Green at 3.6%, PPC, the old Conservative, the people, that's the People's Party now. People's Party 2.2, and then 1.4 going to others. But let's take a gander here. I still have it up here. Yeah, here's the poll tracker here. So yeah, here, well, guys, sorry, let's pull it up so you can see it. Here's our poll tracker. As you can see, now this one here, the reason I like this one, and I know some people will give me I get some heck sometimes saying it's a CBC poll, but it's not. It's actually an average. It is an average across all political spectrums. It is a pretty good representation. Now here is where this would turn into seats. So right now, and this red line actually indicates where they could fall, but right now they're predicting Liberals at 176 majority, Conservatives 133, Bloc 26. So remember how I was mentioning they normally do about 30. New Democrats, look at that, 7 and 1 to the Green. These here, oh, there's something else. This is for the regions. This is another graph I do like. It sort of shows, like, look at this. Look at how far this has come. Like just here, right here on January 6th, the Conservatives had 44.2% to the Liberals 20.1%. That is how much things have changed. And you'll see. So yeah, the Conservatives have come down a little bit, but look at all of this. Look at the NDP. The NDP absolutely, I mean, they went from 19.3 down to 11.5. They've suffered. So that's where a lot of this, and you can see the Bloc as well has gone down. Even the Green's gone down a little bit too. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting. This is going to be fun to watch, and we'll pull this up every week. We'll take a gander at it, and we'll see how things are going. But yeah, we got an election. This is so much fun. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Let's get back to the main view. Rory says, now is the time for Jagmeet to block the libs from getting power. What a clown. From my understanding, he's actually losing in his riding. So I have a feeling that he won't even make it back to the office. I think he may be done. He may be done. Chad says, but even Walmart prediction was a recession. So I don't think, if anything, till April 2nd to see what happens, keeping my powder dry on the sidelines. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nike getting hammered. Yikes. Ian says, simply Wall Street says Telus dividend payout ratio is 233%. BCE payout ratio 2233%. Thoughts? Might buy some Telus, but neither look good. Yeah, if they don't recover soon, I mean, and that's part of it. Like, you got to realize these numbers are skewed high because of the fact that they have lost so much value. So it's a tough situation with the Canadian communication sector. And this is one of these things. Normally, low rates are good for that sector. Normally they are. Normally we should be seeing some recovery in that sector. But I'll tell you, I do have right now. I've got the BCE swing going on, and it's hard to keep buying on that one. I keep looking at it, and I'm like, I thought I would see a little bit of recovery by now, but nothing. So yeah, I would be. I don't know. I just don't have as much faith in our telecommunication company as I'd like to have. Yeah. So we'll keep watching them, Ian. We're going to keep watching them, but I'll tell you, I have a feeling the next deep dive I do on one of the one of the three could be interesting. It could be interesting, but at the same time, I will say they all have, like, these are companies that have huge moats. They have so many assets. They could sell quite a bit of their assets. They can get themselves out of trouble if they really wanted to, but still it's tough. It's tough watching them, and it's tough being an investor in that sector for sure. Let's see. Lisa says, I keep going back to the U.S. election when the polls kept saying it was so close that Kamala would win. Look what happened there. Exactly. That is true. But you got to remember too, there was a lot of the polls that were being pushed heavy by a lot of the media were, some of the more left-leaning polls, and that is one of the reasons why, one of the reasons that things look pretty bad. Like, what I would have loved to have seen is something like that poll, like the poll tracker that I use, where you're going an average across, all of the main polls. Then you got something at least. And here's the thing with polls, guys. Let's bring it back up. I want to show you something here. So we talk about this poll, and we talk about, these numbers like 176, 153. Well, we know polls can be absolutely wrong. The most important thing you'll get from a poll is this. This here is the most important part, because what you can see is trends. So for example, from here, from back here in May of 2023, we can see the trends of the conservatives. We can see Poilievre gaining in popularity, exploding. And, we can see the opposite happening to Trudeau. And then we can see right here, as Trudeau was finally, coming out, and Carney was, the front runner, we could see everything sort of changing. So you can see the trends, and the trends tend to be, to me, what's more important. So right now, what I can see is right now, the Liberals are on an upswing. The Tories are on a downswing. So that gives me a little bit of information. So yeah, I mean, what these numbers up here, meaningless until we actually get an election. And when we look at the min-max, this is what it really means is, yeah, these numbers say that the Liberals can have anywhere from 126 to 208. The Conservatives from 108 to 176. So let's say you get that 176 here and the 126 here. Yeah, that would be a Conservative majority. So everything is still possible. But by looking at those trends, and this is where watching is going to be fun, is that as we get to see Pierre, for example. So for Pierre's new what's the word for his new messaging, whatever his election thing is, if we see this continue to fall down, then we know it's not working. And then, and he would know it's not working. And, as well as, of course, people, the election planners, and they will have to start changing their messaging. They'll have to start adjusting. So that's kind of this important thing. So right now we know what the Liberals are saying is working. And, and we also know that Poilievre is starting to move in that same direction to try to get that done. And so that's all fantastic. But it is one of these situations where it's the trends. The trends are important. The numbers, not as much. It's fun to look at them, but they're not as important. They're not as important. All right, let's see. Rory says hoping for the same results. I'm going to jump out of that. Let's see. CRTC sticking their nose into cell phone business, causing the telecom issues. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the CRTC. Yeah, I'll agree. Ian says I pay about $15 Canadian a month, I think, for data in Colombia. When I tell locals about Canadian data prices, they are shocked. Yeah, I mean, Canada has some of the highest cell prices in the world. I mean, it's ridiculous. Prairie says, I hold both BCE and Telus. Even if BCE cuts their divvy by 50%, you're collecting 5 to 6%. Still better than 2% in the bank. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Chat says, Bell is my dog now, then Ham, then Telus. Interestingly enough, I actually did buy some more HAMM. I still have faith in them. And, I was actually able to average down a tiny bit. They weren't below they were just a squeak below, but we'll see that in the 0 to 100K challenge. Ian says, Timber Creek Financial is my dog right now. I know. Let's see. BCE needs to cut entirely. Zozo says, hey, Candace, you should give out an invite to your Discord room. Great area to share info. I can do that. We do have a Discord. All right. Let me grab sorry, guys, I'm going to bring it up so you can see it. We have a Discord. Am I in the Discord? Yes, I'm in the general talk. So yeah, the Discord is fantastic. I love it. It's a great place to get some stuff, all kinds of information. I also keep the schedule here too. So let me just take a look here. Here we are right here. So here is the schedule for what's coming out on the channel. Always fun to come in. And there's just a lot of talk. And, you guys there's pretty much no rules here. Just be respectful. And, it's cool. It's cool. Anyway, let's get an invite. I'll drop this in the thing. Oh, I'm going to edit this. I want there to be no, even though I say never, it still has a thing. All right, I'm dropping it in the chat right now. This is a link to the Discord. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I encourage talk and heck, and there's also a place too for self-promotion. So if you got like your own YouTube channel or something, and feel free to drop it in. That's what it's there for. I love taking a look at what you guys are doing. So, that is cool. All right. Chad says, glad I sold my Tesla. All right. Now Zozo trailer in with a super. So that knocks our swag meter up to 14. And Zozo is now, they're now the GOAT. Zozo is the GOAT, taking it away from Funny Books. Gotta love it. I love the GOAT. I love the GOAT. All right. Now let's bang back here. Let's get into the comments. I clicked the wrong button. I was like, wait a minute, we're not in the comments. Rory says, we have not seen Pierre's official platform just yet. No, that's the thing. I have not yet seen them. Hopefully next week I'll be able to bring some of these official platforms and we can look at them. Man, they even tax our super chat. I know they tax everything. Everything gets taxed. It's crazy. Chad says, it's conservative time. Canada can't handle another 4 years under Liberals. PP is afraid of Carney, would steal his platform. Meowie says, I told you BCE was going to suck for a while. Yes, you did mention that. All right. Ian says, I bought the dip with ENCL and Bank. Back in the green with them. See what happens April 2nd. Now, speaking of Bank, that will be the next Evolve ETF. Because as some of you may or may not know, Evolve has, they're sponsoring the channel. So every so often, I will be doing a deep dive into one of their ETFs. Now, I have a rule. My rule is, when I do a deep dive, a sponsored deep dive, I'm not taking away from any of my normal slots. So all the normal videos will drop. It just becomes an additional video for that week. But I'm excited about it. That I'm hoping that comes out this week. So, I did a quick reshoot on a couple of things for them. So hopefully I get the okay to drop that later this week. And Chad saying BCE sucked for 15 years. Wow. Seja says, when it comes to telecoms, are they not profitable? Would cuts in spending increase their cash flow over the next few years? How do you get this info? It's not. Here's the reality: is it's not that they're super unprofitable. Um, One of the big things is they have a huge strain on their cash flow right now, and that is the basically the getting everything upgraded to 5G. So they have upgraded all of the equipment in most of the urban centers. So the urban transition to 5G done. They're now doing rural. So all the rest of the country, that is eating up a lot of their cash flow, and it's hurting them. It is hurting them absolutely. So when the economy is not cooperating, we're getting like the crap that we're getting now. It really hurts. It really hurts. But yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I'm just gonna call them fun for now. Let's see. Chad says got like 17 shares of HMM.A. I need to spend a lot to lower the average price. Kind of given up. Plus, it's a yearly dividend too. I think semi-annual, so twice a year. Twice a year. Yeah, I mean, it's HMM.A for me is a long-term investment. Like I have full faith in the Hammond companies, so both them and HPS. I think they're going to do fantastic. Now, the tariffs, the recession, it's going to slow them down. These are going to be some of the companies, though, that I will be looking at dollar cost averaging across the recession, because I think on the other side, they're going to be fantastic. They, the services that they have, like even right now, like HPS.A, so Hammond Power Solutions, they've got a lineup. There's people lining up for their business. So they're really going to be fine on the other side of this. So I have no worries at all about the Hammonds. Like I still love the Hammond company. So I will I kind of hope Hammond drops a little lower, to be honest, because it'd be nice to average down a bit more. But I have a lot of faith in them. Chad, 56 watching, 42 likes. Come on, show your support. Yeah. Actually, I haven't had a cup of coffee in a while, so here we go. Ian says, bank is now my second biggest holding after SPYI. Bill says, what is bank? Is that a covered call or a split share? Split core. It is covered call. It's covered call, and they do use a little bit of leverage too. Piercy says, let's see, a vote for party who wants to balance the budget, interest payments too much for 1.3 trillion deficit. You want liberals to bankrupt the country. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, you have to take, like I said, you have to take everything into consideration. I do think honestly, the amount of building that we need to do to sort of wean ourselves off of the United States, the deficit's going to get bigger no matter who comes in. And I know that Pierre sort of says, for every dollar of spending, we'll have a dollar of savings. I just don't think he's going to be able to live up to that, because we need the pipeline, we need refineries, and that's just looking at the energy sector. We need a lot of mines for the critical minerals. I mean, there's a lot that we need. So I think every party is going to pretty much increase that deficit. I don't think there's any way around it. Let's see. Chad says equal weight bank. Now they also have more than banks, though. They also carry. They have like the 3 insurance companies in it as well, and also Power Corporation of Canada. They hold that as well. Let's see. Lisa says, could the sheer size of Canada be one reason why cellular plans are so expensive? There is that. Although, and here's a funny thing with Canada. If you think about it, one of the reasons, like Canada has a very good internet. Like our internet is fantastic, but it's because we're mostly a straight line. We're all hugged around that border. So for the most part, it's mostly a straight line when you look at it. So that makes it a lot easier to manage. So you would almost think that things wouldn't be that expensive. But then, of course, you've got everybody who is off of that front line. So that's where all of the rural stuff is. So yeah, I mean, that certainly does add a lot of expense, having to run wires up to the middle of nowhere. But there's that. And plus, there's the lack of competition. So if you look, like if you go to, Quebec, for example, you've got, well, you got Quebecor there. So because you've got that extra carrier, you know, that extra competition has pulled some of the prices down. And I think also, is it Saskatchewan? Chad would know. It's either Saskatchewan or Manitoba where they have, I think it's SaskTel, maybe. That you can also get lower prices because of that as well. But the rest of the country, you're pretty much screwed. You're paying the full prices. Tim says, I just put 25,000 into HHIS and set it on a drip. Am I crazy? That's a lot. That is a lot to put into it. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would have put that much in. But I mean, I like what HHIS. I like the diversification they have. But if we do slip into a recession, if the U.S. slips into a recession, and this is, it's one of these things that tech could take a bit of a hit. But at the same time, I do think AI is not finished singing. So you might be fine, but I'd watch it. That's, to me, it just seems a little risky at this juncture, but you might actually, yeah, you might do really well at the same time. You are going to get a nice income flow from that too. So let's see, 1.5 leverage, I think, bank. Not quite that high. Not quite that high. Derek says SLXN NASDAQ is a hidden gem for cancer treatment breakthroughs. Let's see, Israeli, Jewish, smart, and Israeli-based. Super news of late, 5 million market cap, maybe worth, let's see, 500 million by 2020, 2030, 2035 product placement. I have not heard of SLXN. Interesting. Let's take a gander. All right. All right. SLXN. Here we go. Here we are. Selextin Therapeutics on the NASDAQ. All right, I'm just going to pull up the 3 years. We'll start with the 3 years. Okay, so far they haven't got off to a great start, but that's fine. A lot of startups will do this. It's one of these things. But right now it's technically, I would call that a penny stock. I'd call that a penny stock right now. But let's pull us down there and let's take a look here. That's a really low PE ratio. I'm not getting any other. Well, look at this. The earnings per share, 26.36. Holy banana bread. That's interesting. I'm going to come in here and see. I don't think we're going to have a lot of data, though. I don't think we'll have a lot of data. Price to book ratio in the negative. Interesting. But yeah, that's a nice. I mean, the earnings per share on it's nice. But I'd be careful. I would be careful with it right now, only because I just don't have a lot of data, and it is kind of penny adjacent. But maybe it is a hidden gem. So might be one for some play money. But be careful. I would still be careful with them. Mikey says, love your channel, Candace. It's always a good one. Thank you, Mikey. Cowboy, he can if we stop foreign aid. Okay. Fair enough. All right. A says, take care, everyone. Sadly, I have to leave now. By the way, make sure to vote, and please don't let the people who broke Canada be the ones to fix it. All right. Do you run your own household like this? It's a fair question. Brian is in. Anything that might not get its butt kicked on April 2nd? I don't think we're going to see anything more to energy. For the simple reason that the U.S. despite what Trump says, oh, we don't need Canadian energy. We don't need Canadian oil. It's BS. He does. He knows it. Why do you think there's only a 10% tariff on it? So I think oil will probably stay at the 10%. I don't see that going up. I would be shocked if he did raise that. That would be a bad move on his part. But I would say energy right now. Energy is probably something that will not get its butt kicked. Um, a few other things too. Like I don't think when he tried to initially put 25% on potash, the farmers really gave him an earful. So that got knocked back to 10% as well. So potash, things like that might be okay, but I would say energy would be an area that's pretty safe. All right. Fred Squared says, do you know anything about Aduro Clean Technologies? I've heard of them. I have heard of them. Let's pull them up. Oh, I am still in the thing. I have to make sure because it's always terrible when I go to pull up a company while I'm not sharing the screen. So Aduro, here we go. Let's just pull it down here. So yeah, they're looking at, and this is kind of neat. So they have this process to transform waste plastics and low-grade renewable oils into renewable fuels. So gotta love that. You gotta love that. I think that's a great concept. Now, if we pull them up here, you can see they haven't been around that long, but they're doing their thing. It's going to be interesting. Like to me, it's a new stock. It's worth watching. But once again, I still would call it a play money stock, as in, don't put in anything that you're not willing to to lose for sure. But I like the concept. I think it has potential. That's kind of the thing. Yeah. Potential, but I don't know if I wouldn't go all in. And because right now, look at this. You can see right here, we don't even have an EPS. We don't have a PE rate. We got nothing. That's one of the problems with a newer stock, but definitely something to put on your, if you want to throw a few dollars in it, yeah, I would do maybe. But I wouldn't bet the sink on them yet. And maybe they turn out to be great, but that's the thing. You guys know I probably get stocks in this vicinity, these kind of play money stocks. I probably run into, I would say every month, we probably look at about 20 of them. And of the 20 that we look at, I would bet you maybe one or two absolutely make me wish I hadn't called them play money. But the other 18, that's the whole issue. I like what this is doing. This could be one of those one or two. But for now, it's still in that area. Oh, there we go. SaskTel. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that. There we go. All right. Live ACT price predictions are $50 a share. Interesting. SaskTel still crown champ. Slacktel. All right. Derek says U.S. economy will be supercharged for job creation and foreign investment gained by these tariffs, I believe. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Now, if a lot of companies start opening up factories in the U.S., sure, there'll be jobs created by it. But will it be enough to offset a lot of the losses from one area I think that nobody really talks about is maple syrup. So Vermont has their own maple syrup, but a lot of that stuff they actually ship up to Canada for processing. So, oh boy, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think tariffs are the best way to go. I think there's better ways to get companies to set up shop in the US. I think, basically tax incentives. I think that's a better way to do. Like, give some people some tax breaks to set up in the US, and you'll get companies will move in that way as well. All right, Tim says, let's see, Adrian from Passive Income Investing thinks HHIS could grow to $1 billion in assets under management, making it Harvest's second largest ETF behind healthcare. I like HHIS, and I like everything that's in it. Will it grow that big? Maybe. It's hard to say, but you got to realize too that it's just heading, if tech runs into issues, that will hurt this ETF temporarily. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I like all of these, the whole high income shares, and I hope I'm right about AI. If I'm right about AI, then I think HHIS is going to be fine if I'm right. I'm hoping I'm right. I'm hoping I'm right. All right. Chad says Saskatchewan, Tel, and Bell partner out for the 5G towers. Okay. Let's see. Derek can get gold visa for the US for 5 million. Yeah, there you go. That 5 million visa thing. Then let's see. Chad says Saskatchewan has SaskTel and Manitoba has MTS. All right, so Manitoba has one as well. There we go. I was thinking that it was one or the others. Let's see. EPS for Aston is minus 26, not 26, I think. Oh, really? Am I still? No, I'm not there. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see the minus there. Okay. SLXN did a 9-to-1 stock organization, but the cancer breakthroughs they say are revolutionary, groundbreaking, new technology, worth looking for sure. They have, yeah, and then that's the thing, and that's the thing, right? If you have, this is why due diligence is usually important. If you are holding a, a company like this, and they're making some big breakthroughs, that could absolutely explode. But do the due diligence. I would want to actually dig right into it, make sure that these breakthroughs are as revolutionary or groundbreaking as as you're saying, and they may be. In which case, that would definitely be probably one of the one or two that I was talking about. Lisa says, I've held Adora, sorry, for 2 years. Okay, yeah, I really like what Adora, I really like what they're doing. I think that's going to be revolutionary. Let's see, reorganization of shares. There we go. Carl says, also interested in your thoughts on Harvest ETFs, HHIS, MSTY, TSLY. Notice they have the hedged and unhedged versions. Yeah, I like these Harvests, the high income shares. I like them. For the most part, it depends on, like, if you look at the MSTY, for example, they, I think Bitcoin, like, I don't think that the high is in yet for Bitcoin before the next crypto winter. So I think that one's going to do well when Bitcoin goes back up and sets a new high. And I'm thinking, initially I thought it was going to be 120K. I've kind of amended that to maybe 130. So let's just say, but here's the thing. It's sometimes hard to figure out what's going to happen. Now, if all of the tech companies do start to rebound and do well, and the big thing is AI, if AI starts showing how it's going to make profit with these companies, we're going to have some really interesting movement. And that would be good for all of those companies. And of course, HHIS holding them all means that they would absolutely do swell. They would do swell with that. So gotta love it. Lisa says they're not profitable yet. Been working on their technology for the last 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. SLXN is not that old. Chad says, let's see, a cure for cancer already exists if you're in the top 5%. What 20 plus years Cancer Institute and still no cure? Oh, excuse me. Chad says, do some research. Look at Paul Stamen cured his mother breast cancer with mushrooms. Okay. Tim says, I don't believe in Bitcoin, crypto, AI, or tech, but HHIS has a 25% yield, and I'm desperate to get to FIRE so I can stop working. So, the good old FIRE movement. Yeah, it's so yeah, if those of you who don't know what FIRE is, financially independent, retire early. But yeah, well, it's something. It's something for sure. Hello, Candace. I keep hearing the word stagflation. Can you please comment on what that might do to the markets if it sets in? You don't want that to happen. Yeah. Stagflation is it's kind of that worst case scenario. It's basically you get stuck. You get stuck with a higher inflation rate. Pretty much nothing you can do really breaks you out of it. Yeah, it's kind of that worst case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. You will have people bring it up. as almost like a fear mongering term. Um, but I don't think it's a legitimate fear at this point in time. I really should make a video on stagflation though. Not in a fear kind of sense, more of a demystifying kind of sense. All right. Oh boy. All right. Now let's try to zip through a little bit more of this news here because we're so far behind. It's hilarious. Um, on the trade war front, we only got one story in there. It's been a quiet week. It's been a quiet week. However, we have, of course, the reciprocal tariffs that are coming out on April 2nd. And treasury, I don't know what I was trying to say. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he came out and said that on April 2nd, each country is going to be given its tariff number. And then they would have an opportunity to research or to resolve the perceived imbalances so that they could lower that number. Now, initially, he made it sound like we would have more time. But the White House clarified, no, you're getting hit with those tariffs on the 2nd. But it sounds like everybody will have their number and perhaps a pathway to get them lowered. So, for example, if you have tariffs against the U.S., if you remove them, it might bring your number down, that type of thing. So there's a lot of confusion about it. And I think it's going to be kind of unclear until we get to April 2nd. We'll have to see. But good old tariffs. Now, speaking of tariffs, yeah, Canada got hit with some new tariffs this week from China. So last year, of course, we tariffed EV vehicles, Chinese EV vehicles by 100%. We did what the U.S. wanted us to do. Now, China has finally decided to retaliate for those. We knew it was coming, but it has finally come. So they have put tariffs on $3.7 billion worth of Canadian agricultural products. They came into effect this week. We're looking at 100% tariffs on canola oil and canola meal. That's canola meal. Basically, that's finely ground up seed that's often used to feed livestock. Now, currently, China is Canada's second largest market for canola products, trailing, well, guess who? The United States, who, of course, is tariffing us as well. Last year, we exported $7.7 billion and $4.9 billion worth of canola products to the U.S. and China, respectively. So, yeah, the rest of Canada's top 20 international canola buyers basically imported less than $2 billion. So most of our canola going south or over to China. So not good. But an interesting thing here is that China's ambassador says that they're open to negotiating a free trade agreement with Ottawa and cooperating with Canada on a research station in the Arctic that that could be very interesting. They want to extend an invitation to repair some of the strained ties as our relationship with the U.S. gets worse. So they want to say, "Oh, we'll be your friend." However, there's some price tags that are coming with this offer. So Wang Di, that's the ambassador. He basically said that Ottawa would have to get this deal from China, Ottawa would have to remove restrictions placed on Chinese investment. Now, Canada, of course, has grown pretty wary of China investment in the past 7 or 8 years, and that's because of some of the national security concerns. That's why we blocked these transactions. So I don't see this resolution coming to pass anytime soon. I think I think we're just going to have to live with the tariffs and live with the bad relation. And of course, there's other stuff going on too. There was some issues with China killing Canadians. So yeah, we got that going on as well. Yikes! All right. I'm just not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of all of this at the moment. But what can we do? What can we do? All right. Let's see. The only good thing Trump did was set up the crypto reserve. Let's see, and chat. Tim disagrees. Tim disagrees, but what can you say? Let's see. Chat says I'm right. BlackRock went to digitalization, the stock market. China, Dubai can't all be wrong. And Percy saying Bitcoin can drop 50% in one day. What's the big deal? Oh, I don't know about 50%. I think the days of them dropping 50% are over. They can go down a lot, but I wouldn't say 50%. Maybe 25%, but not 50. Chad says it went up 150 cents in 48 hours. So what a 50% drop, and that was like 2 years ago. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we're going to see 50% drops anymore. Cowboy says those tariffs ruined our Western farmers. See what good comes from doing American bidding. Ask the two mics. Yeah, there you go. Chad says to each their own, all of that fun stuff. Yeah, and you know what? Some people you like crypto or you don't. It happens. It happens. All right. I'm going to skip all of the crypto talk here. Perfect. That means I can go to the next news article. All right. Well, I have to actually get back here first. All right. Yeah, this is that news article. We've already talked a little bit about it, but Telus, of course, is partnering with NVIDIA to fast track an AI data center in Quebec. So in fact, they're actually hoping to have it operational by the summer. So that's big time fast tracking. Now, Telus is planning to target Canadian businesses and researchers looking to run AI models within the country. And there's many reasons that you might want that. The big, of course, is the promise of keeping all client data secure in Canada as their major selling point. A lot of companies in healthcare, legal, and banking spaces, they do need to protect their like PPI and your personal data. So that would be a huge plus for them to have AI within Canada, so they can have better security on it. Currently, Canada has 670 AI startups and 30 generative AI companies. So we currently rank 4th globally for the number of Gen AI companies per capita, which is pretty good. Here's the problem, and this is what this is going to hopefully solve, is we lack, well, as usual, we lack the infrastructure to keep the AI talent here. So Telus's plan is, of course, to add some of that infrastructure with this center. Now, the data center investments are a key part of the AI Compute Strategy Canada launched in December. Since then, the feds have announced basically $15 billion in loans and investments to encourage pension funds to build domestic data centers. And they've also committed $240 million to help Toronto startup Cohere build a multi-million-dollar AI data center. So yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Holy cow. There we go. Whew. Another story as well. I'm going to quickly get through these guys just to get them done, and then I will get right back to the chat. But this is fantastic. The government, so the feds, they have enacted legislation that's imposing a $10 cap on banks' non-sufficient funds. So those NSF fees, they're going to be capped at $10 starting March of next year. So we still have a year to go, but yeah, NSF fees. Oh boy, I actually remember I was once short a penny in my checking account, and they bounced a rent check on a penny, and hit me with an NSF fee. I was livid. But what can you do? So currently, and you know why it bounced by a penny? They hit me with some other service charge just before the rent was gonna come out. So I was just like, oh my God. But what can you do? Banks are sometimes like that. So currently, an NSF charge right now in most of our top banks will run you from $45 to $48. So it's crazy. Now, this change that's coming into effect, it is predicted to save Canadians about $5.1 billion over the next 10 years once it comes into effect. So that's pretty good. So in 2023, 34% of Canadians were hit at least once with an NSF fee. So banks in total that year, they doled out, and this is insane, 158.8 million NSF fees. So that basically racked in about 711 million for them. So, oh boy, what can I say? All right, there we go. That's the news. We got the news done. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. Oops, give me a second. Boom, we'll get over here. There we go. All right. Now we're finally out of the news. Let's see here. Here's where we are. Let's see. What stick will do that? All right. Okay. Here we go. Guys, are you guys still arguing about crypto? Let's see. Bees don't tell flies flowers are better than. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, here's something else I wanted to do today, and let's get this. We're going to get this done. I'm going to bring this up, and we're heading over to Blossom. I'm going to back out of here for a second. All right. So this, guys, this is the Blossom desktop app. So they're getting more and more functional. Right now, it's still in beta, but it will be operational. It's supposed to be fully operational by the end of the month. For now, it is allowing me to get into profiles. So guys, if you want me to review your profile, well, head on over to Blossom. There's a link down below. Head over to Blossom. Once you get over there, follow me, and I'll follow you right back. And let me know. Send me a direct message over there. Let me know you want me to review. So I mentioned this last week, and Billy Redwine said, yeah, let's take a look at my portfolio. So we got Billy's portfolio right here. All right, let's pull it up. So here is just sort of an overall, but we're going to go right in. We're going to look at all of Billy's stocks and take a look and see what we got. So right off the bat, he's got XEF. So that, of course, is the iShares Core MSCI EAFE IMI Index ETF. So I like this. I like XEF. I think this is a nice one. He's got quite a bit, 15.3%. Now, this one is going to give him some broad exposure to developed markets, actually outside of North America. So this is a good ETF if you want to get that international exposure. It's not going to help you with North America, but it is going to give you a lot of exposure to the rest of the world. So you're going to get emerging markets. You're going to get a lot of good stuff in there. So I do like that. Now let's see, what else does he have here? He's got VTI. So that's the Vanguard total stock market. That one pretty much tracks the whole U.S. market. He's got a good exposure in there, 9.5% there. All right, SPTM, that is a U.S. ETF here. They track, if I remember correctly, the S&P 1500 composite ETF. So they're pretty good. They will provide you some, once again, more U.S. exposure. So between these two, you're going to get a lot of U.S. exposure for sure. All right, what else do you got in here? Holy cow, you got a lot. You got a lot in here. Let's see, we got ZCN. It's one of the BMO. So that's the I think it's the TSX capped composite. So yeah, that's not too shabby. It's going to give you some. It's a good one for Canadian equity diversification. So yeah, so far we got Canada, we got the US, and we got international all in there. SPYG, that is I think that's also it's also a US one. They look at I think they'll do growth, S&P 500 growth. So yeah, more American in there. EEMV, those are more emerging markets. So we got more emerging markets kind of tying in with XEF. They have emerging markets, but they also have a lot of other international stuff as well. So yeah, they sort of tie in together. Holy cow. Well, we do have a lot here. SPYG, that's once again more S&P. I just looked at that one. Yeah, I just looked at that one. GLOV. We'll drop down to GLOV. That there's your Goldman Sachs low volatility. So basically, you're looking at a lot of really kind of blue chip stocks. Um, yeah, it's a very conservative. Like GLOV is a conservative ETF. But once again, we're starting to see quite a bit of American stuff here. So it looks to me like Billy likes his American stocks. Or ETFs for the most part. ZEA or ZEA. This one, once again, it's more developed marks excluding North America. So I see a big trend here. We're looking at a lot of international diversification here in Billy's portfolio. So definitely a lot of international. Look, he's got the Mackenzie Canadian equity. I don't see a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people touching some of the Mackenzie stuff, but I do like them. So this one here is going to give a broad Canadian equity ETF passive tracking of Canadian stocks. So basically, it's kind of a set and forget type fund. Let's see, iTotal, another US one. Holy cow, Billy, you really like the US. We got iShares Core S&P. Total U.S. stock market. Okay, so we got a little bit of that. SCZ, that's once again, oh God, this is small caps from developed international markets. So yeah, we're seeing a lot. I'm seeing a theme here. I am seeing a theme. I am seeing, let's see, ZFL. What else do we got in here? We've got ZFL. So those are actually, that's a bond. I think that's a bond one. Yeah, bond. Long federal bond. Okay. So that's kind of a defensive one, a bit defensive. IE, this is another one, more international markets outside of North America. All right. Holy cow. All right. We're almost through. We're almost through. XSP. XSP. That's basically a core S&P 500 index ETF. So that's kind of a lot like your VFE, but except for it is hedged. It is hedged to Canadian dollars. So that's kind of neat. IJR. That's also an iShares, but it's a US iShares. So that one there is, let's see, yeah, small cap exposure. So we got a little bit of small cap exposure in there. We got another one of the Q ones, so one of the Mackenzie ones. So QUU, that's basically large cap US. I like GLDM. This here is a gold mini shares trust in the US. So they basically hold gold. In a nutshell, they're actually holding gold. They're not really an ETF per se. But they, basically it works. It ends up tracking the physical gold price because that's what they're holding. IJH, another iShares in there. That there is your mid cap. Oh, I love this one. This has to be the best name. So REIT, of course, it's a US REIT ETF, but I do like REITs, and XRE is another REIT ETF, but this is a Canada one, the capped REIT index. Oh boy. All right. I'm seeing a lot of overlap. Billy, I'm seeing a lot of overlap in your portfolio. I like where you're going. I like your overall theme. I like the, you've got really strong coverage across, Canada, the US, developed, international, and emerging markets. So you have very little regional risk. So yeah, you're knocking geographical diversification out of the park. You got a pretty good mix of, there's growth stocks in there. You got value stocks. You got some broad market exposure. You got real estate. You got gold. Definitely like that. And there's a pretty good balance across large, mid, and small cap companies. So I'm loving the diversification. You are absolutely blowing that all out of the park. However, the one critique I guess I would have is that I think you've got a lot of overlap. So when we talk about redundancy, like if you were to look at XEF, ZEA, IEFA, they're all covering developed markets, excluding North America. So you could probably knock that down to 2 or maybe 1. Because you don't need to have 3 separate ones all doing the same job. Same idea with North America. You've got VTI, you got ITOT and SPTM. They're all kind of overlapping. So you're getting really good coverage, but you're adding a lot of extra work by having ETFs that do the exact same thing. So just something to keep in mind. As I mentioned as well, you could pretty much lower the number of your total ETFs down. That would, of course, make it a little bit easier to manage your portfolio. But with that being said, you are absolutely, like I said, you are blowing it. You're hitting a home run when it comes to your exceptional diversification with this portfolio, especially across geographic. So many people neglect geographic diversification. You are not one of those people. You also have really good diversification across the different cap sizes, asset classes, investing styles. I think that with some minor consolidations or just reducing some of those redundancies, you would have a really good portfolio here for sure. So I do like it. I do like it. Anyway, there we go. This is Billy, guys. Once again, over there on Blossom. And you know what, guys? If you jump over on Blossom, maybe reach out to Billy. He's only got 3 people following him. I'm one of them. As you can see, I am following. So I'm going to do this every week. So like I said, if one of you wants me to look at your portfolio, connect with me on Blossom. Send me that direct message, and I would be happy. I would be more than happy to do that. Awesomeness. All right. Let's see. What did I miss? I'm going to pull back the big screen. Let's see. By the dawn's early light. Uh-oh. Fred says, do you think I should start loading up on REITs? Nice and low right now. REITs are these things that are really interesting. What's interesting about REITs is that they love low rates because obviously servicing on their debts goes down big time. So they do tend to do really well. We are also at a real estate time where it's predicted that a lot of people are going to start looking at buying. So, real estate is supposed to pick up. Now, with that being said, we've also seemed to have this situation where people are kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern. And I think that they're going to be in a holding pattern until we finally figure out what's going to happen with these tariffs. Once we get on the other side and the tariffs are in place and, it's no longer a threat over our head, it's already happening. I think at that point, we're going to see a bit more of an uptick in that sector. And I think that should reflect in the prices. So right now, yeah, I do think it's not a bad time to be dollar cost averaging into REITs. I'm still pretty confident on REITs overall. And worst case scenario, if we go into a recession and things never really recover until we get to the other side of that, these will be some investments that will do well long term. So yeah, I'm okay with the REITs. I think I like them. Tim says, I think my TFSA is an emerging market. I need a Tim Smith emerging market ETF, all Dollarama and private investments in thrift stores, like the Tim Smith life. I love it. You should make a channel. Nawadi says, hi, everyone. Hope you all have had a great week. Absolutely. I hope you're having a great week as well. Rory says, I can't believe it's almost Monday again. I know. It's time is just ticking on by. It's just ticking on by. Before you know it, we'll have April 28th here, and we can have our election. Ian says, I'm not as globally diversified as I should be, and most of us aren't. That's one of the reasons that I talk a lot about like XEQT and interestingly enough, guys, I'm going to bring this up. So that video I did where I looked at some of the all equity. XEQT, we had VEQT, I had 5 of them. I had one thing I did get is I had a few people saying, why did you not put in FEQT? So that there's the Fidelity one. And the reason is on the date that I pulled the data for the 5, they actually came in 6th. So they didn't make it because I do 5. But I do like FEQT. So I just wanted to point that out there that I do like FEQT. Ironically, when I pulled the data again when I was looking at it a couple days ago, and they actually did move into fifth at that point. So definitely a good ETF. I do like FEQT as well. Ian says, my REITs have not boomed like I expected. Yeah, we're all in that boat. We're all in that boat, Ian. I think we're in that together. Cowboy says, when I go to Blossom on your link, it says, text me the app. Don't want it on my phone. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it has, because right now it's currently in an app form. I think that's the only way you can set it up, is either with your phone or your iPad. I should send something across to Brandon and sort of say, make sure people can sign up once they have this operational. Hopefully, people can sign up this way as well, because I think that should be a given. Because I know a lot of you guys probably are still using computer. I love my desktop. I almost never do things on my phone, to be honest. So yeah, absolutely. Tim says, Ian, when you submitted your share order, were you playing Black Eyed Peas Boom Boom Pow? If not, your roots went boom. Oh boy. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys, we're almost at the end. If you got your final questions, get them in. Can I have some coffee? I'll have some coffee here. We've been going 2 hours and 11 minutes, so not too shabby. Good thing I did that. Good thing I did that short earlier, hey? Oh, so good. Ian says I will try that next time. All right. So coming up, there's one thing that we did not look at. Just give me 1 second here. Where the banana bread is it? Just pulling up the calendar here. All right. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, we didn't actually look at the calendar. So next week in Canada, we don't got a lot going on, but we do have, we got the month-over-month GDP releasing on Friday, on the March 28th. In the US, we have the personal consumers expenditures dropping on Friday as well. Not a lot in terms of earnings. Canada-wise, well, hey, if you like Skidoo, they've got earnings coming out this coming week. In the US, Lululemon have earnings coming out. So all of that fun. And of course, our next Bank of Canada rate hike meeting is not going to be until April 16th. Now, interestingly enough, after that one, we go from April. The next one after that won't be until June. So April 16th, then June 4th, then July 30th. And since we're there, September 17th, October 29th, and December 10th, that will round out the year. Anyway, guys, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. All right. What am I doing here? There we go. All right. Well, guys, I think we're there. I think we had God, this was a great stream. You guys brought the energy. Next week as well, I'll have the road. I'm going to bring the road to victory for both parties. And I'll tell you what they need to do if they want to win. And then maybe I'll tell you what's going to happen if they both do what I tell them to do. We'll figure that out. That's going to be coming next week. It's going to be fantastic. Coming up on Tuesday, we're going to look at some dividend growth ETFs that should do okay in a recession. If you are a channel member, you can see that tomorrow. So that will be fun. Cowboy wants to know, are we going monthly on the challenge? I am going to put that to a vote. I wanted to put out this challenge first and then drop that as a vote. So we'll vote on that very early in April, right after the next video, basically, because that way there people who are new to the channel can see the video and they might be like, oh, I want to see that monthly. Then we'll vote on that. But we'll get that vote in. And, like I said, if people want it, I am totally game to do it. I'm totally game to do it. I already know what your vote is, but still vote anyway. All right, guys. This has been another great stream. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad to be here. We will be back on Wednesday for the market close. I'll give you guys an opportunity on Wednesday as well if you want to get an extra market close in for Friday. But until then, guys, This has been great. I will see you guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye. Whoops! I have to. I have to hit another button.